Alvin Kamara should have been suspended for at least 6 games. The problem with NFL players, the problem with athletes, is they think they're bigger than the sport. Alvin Kamara is a head case. He hangs out with these idiots, and they go on a dock, and they assaulted a man. A man that probably told him he can't be there at that time and said that he has to leave. And because he's Alvin Kamara, he believes he can do whatever he damn well pleases. And this is the problem with Roger Goodell. You are making millions and millions of dollars. And you're setting rules, changing rules for the game. And then you have these players that because of who they are, you don't want to punish them as bad as you could punish them. Now, if it was a woman and Alvin Kamara put his hands on a woman, he would have been suspended for the season. Then he would have had to go through all these domestic violent classes. Maybe he never plays in the NFL again. Ray Rice didn't experience it again.
That's what happened with Kareem Hunt. When he had his incident, he had to go to a class.
Yeah, but because it's a man, and because it happened off the field and Alvin Kamara has one of those unbelievable lawyers because he's making about $13 million a year, pays a lawyer $300,000 to get him out of trouble. And that's what these players do. They wave money in the air and their lawyers run and protect these players from losing their chances of making more money or getting another contract or extending a contract that they're not even worth anymore. This is his last year with the Saints. There's no way they're paying him another year of the money that he's making. As you see how every single owner or GM is undervaluing the running back position. I think it's ridiculous. Who carry, if you're a good running back, 42% of the possession of your team's offense. The average running back is making $2 to $3 million a year. And then you have these corners, and yes, they're a distinct and very important position in the league, and they're defending one player. They're making $18 million a year from a running back that is taking more of the beating and is probably your best player on your team. On a lot of these teams, Christian McCaffrey, is he the best player on his team right now as far as athletic ability? Probably. Saquon Barkley, is he the best player athletically on his team? Probably. Alvin Kamara, is he the best and most athletic player on his team? Probably. But they don't get respected. The league, they don't believe they're worth the money that they're paying him after their 3 or 4 years in the league. It's ridiculous. Here's what bothers me. Saquon Barkley is a good Samaritan. He's a good guy on and off the field. He's never been in trouble with the law. He goes to these golf tournaments, food drives. He is a good guy. He is begging the Giants to giving him at least $2 million more and extending his contract. And the Giants gave him incentives on the money that he could make if he hits his totals at the end of the season. And you have this guy, Alvin Kamara, who has been in trouble not once, but twice off the field. And he is making $14.5 million, and he is nowhere close to the player and the Samaritan Saquon Barkley is. If you were to choose a guy right now to be your lead guy, your lead offensive option, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, or Saquon Barkley, who do you take?
Saquon. Most well-rounded, I think, skill-wise at this point. And even though Derrick Henry is probably the most dominant at his peak, I think the type of back he is not going to age for probably another year or two.
I'm going to tell you why I would take Saquon. Saquon Barkley has less time on his knees and his legs because he's missed a couple of years because of injury. That's one. And number two, he's the youngest out of all three of them.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Saquon. I'm going to pay Saquon. Besides Derrick Henry, who carried a little bit over 50% of his team's offense, Saquon Barkley carried 48.5% of his team's offense last year. Derrick Henry is still making $12 million.
Yeah, he's on the last year of his deal, too. But the type of player he is, and then 29 years old, and him getting 250-plus carries a year, I don't know if it's as sustainable down the road.
Yes, and he's also a lot bigger than Saquon Barkley, and he has a lot more dragging muscle than Saquon Barkley.